The rain soaked through my shirt as I stood outside the cafe, staring at Lena while she kept her arms folded like she was afraid to let me get too close. "Just say it," I whispered, even though part of me already knew. "I'm leaving," she said, her tone sharp enough to cut straight through me. I can't keep pretending things are fine. My throat tightened. Pretending? "Lena, we've been planning our future for months. What changed?" Her eyes flicked away. "Jason can give me a life you can't." The name hit me like a punch. I took a step back, rain dripping from my hair and my eyes. "Jason? You mean the same Jason who used to brag about cheating on every girl he dated? That Jason." "Don't twist it," she snapped. "He's stable now. He has direction. And I don't." My voice cracked before I could stop it. "Lena, was I never enough for you?" She sighed, the kind of sigh people make when they've already given up. "Ethan, you're good, but I need more. More than someone who loves you." I asked. "Love doesn't pay bills. Love doesn't guarantee anything." She shrugged, as if the decision was easy. "Jason understands what I want." I stared at her, trying to find the girl who used to cling to my arm, laughing at every stupid thing I said. But she wasn't here anymore. This version of her felt distant, colder than the rain hitting my skin. "Tell me the truth," I said. "Did this start while we were still together?" She hesitated, just long enough to answer me without speaking. Wow, I breathed out. "So all this time, you were planning your escape?" "Don't make it dramatic," she muttered. "I'm standing in the rain while you tell me you're leaving for another guy. I think I'm allowed a little drama." Her jaw tightened, but she didn't deny anything. Then I heard footsteps behind her. Heavy, confident footsteps that matched the smug grin already forming on his face before he even reached us. Jason. Of course. He slid his hand around her waist like he'd already won a trophy. She didn't flinch. She didn't move away. She leaned into him. Something inside me cracked so violently I almost heard it. Jason raised an eyebrow. "Ethan, rough night, huh?" I clenched my jaw. "Don't talk to me." "Relax, man," he said, smirking. "Things happen." Lena shot him a look, but not the kind that meant she disagreed. Just the kind that meant not now. I swallowed hard. "You chose him," I said quietly. "Just like that." "It wasn't just like that," she said. "It's been coming for a while." "Right." I let out a shaky breath. I guess I was too blind to see it. "Maybe we shouldn't drag this out," Jason said. "He gets it." I looked at him, then at her. "You know what hurts the most? You didn't even fight for us." She opened her mouth, but no words came out. "I would have fought for you," I whispered. Every single time. The rain kept falling, hitting the pavement harder, as if trying to drown out the moment. I felt my hands shaking, not from the cold, but from the realization that no matter what I said, she'd already walked away long before tonight. "I should go," I muttered. Lena took a small step forward. "Ethan." "No," I said, lifting my hand. "Please don't say anything else. I'll only remember it." Her silence was somehow louder than her words. I turned around before the tears could reach my eyes. I refused to break in front of them. I refused to give Jason the satisfaction. My footsteps splashed through puddles as I walked down the street. Every sound felt distant, muffled by the pounding in my chest. I didn't look back. I couldn't. A block away, I finally let out the breath I'd been holding since she said his name. I wasn't enough, I whispered to myself. Not for her. The rain kept pouring, cold and merciless, matching the emptiness spreading through me. I kept walking with no destination, just the numb rhythm of my footsteps guiding me. The rain felt colder with every block, soaking through my jacket until even my bones felt heavy. I kept replaying her voice, the way she said Jason's name like it meant safety, like it meant everything I wasn't. I didn't know if I was angrier at her, at him, or at myself for not seeing it sooner. Maybe I'd been living in a dream she outgrew. Maybe love wasn't enough after all. By the time I reached my apartment door, I felt hollow, emptied out by a truth I never wanted. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the floor as if the answers were hidden in the cracks. She really said that. I whispered, hearing Lena's voice again, sharp, final, merciless. The words echoed so loudly in my head that I forgot to breathe. Jason can give me the life you can't. Every time I replayed it, something inside me twisted tighter. I haven't slept, I muttered to myself, rubbing my face with shaking hands. My stomach felt hollow, as if eating would betray the pain I was holding together. Hours passed, but the room didn't change. I just sat there, trapped in the same moment, over and over. When the door burst open, I barely lifted my head. "Ethan, what the hell is going on?" Ryan's voice filled the room. I blinked at him, unsure how long he'd been calling my name. "I'm fine," I said, but even I didn't believe it. "You look like you're having a staring contest with your wall," he snapped. "Talk. Now." I swallowed hard. "There's nothing to say." "Bullshit." He stepped closer. "Start talking before I shake it out of you." My throat tightened. "She left?" I whispered. Ryan froze. "Lena." I nodded, staring at my hands. She said Jason can give her the life I can't." He cursed loudly. "And you just stood there? What was I supposed to do?" My voice cracked, humiliatingly thin. "Beg? Fight? Pretend I wasn't already breaking?" Ryan sank onto the chair across from me. "Ethan, you should have called me. I didn't want anyone to see me like that," I admitted. "I didn't want to exist like that." He let out a long breath. "Man, you're scaring me." I looked away, blinking hard. I keep hearing her voice. I keep seeing her face. It's like she's still here, telling me I wasn't enough. "You were enough," he shot back instantly. "Then why did she leave?" I whispered. "Why him?" Ryan had no answer. His silence pressed against my ribs like a weight. The next morning at work, I tried to pull myself together, but my reflection in the elevator looked hollow. When I walked into the office, Mr. Collins called my name before I could even settle at my desk. "Ethan, step into my office," he said firmly. I followed him, trying to straighten my shoulders, but my chest felt heavy. He closed the door behind us. "What's going on with you? You're not focused. Your reports are sloppy. You missed 2 deadlines last week." "I know," I murmured. "Is something wrong?" I hesitated. "It's personal." His expression softened slightly. "I'm not asking for details. I'm telling you to get a grip before this affects your position here." "I'm trying," I said, though even I wasn't convinced. "Try harder," he replied. "You're better than this." I nodded and walked out, feeling smaller than I had when I walked in. The rest of the day blurred. Lena's laughter echoed in every hallway. When a coworker walked by, wearing her perfume, my chest tightened so sharply I had to stop walking. I felt the breakup everywhere, in my heartbeat, in my thoughts, in the silence between breaths. When I finally got home, I closed my door and let the weight of the day slam into me. I slid down to the floor, breathing unevenly. Why wasn't I enough? I whispered into the dark. My voice trembled, fragile and small. My phone buzzed. I didn't want to look, but I did anyway. Lena's social media post lit up my screen. She was smiling. Jason's arm was around her waist. Their faces were pressed together like they'd been waiting for this moment. I stared at the picture until my vision blurred. Pieces of me felt scattered across the floor, and I didn't know how to pick any of them up. I wiped my eyes, but the image stayed burned into me. "Maybe I was always replaceable," I said aloud, the words slicing deeper than I expected. My chest ached as I leaned back against the wall, trying to steady my breathing. I wanted to scream, but all I managed was a quiet, broken whisper into the empty room. I didn't expect Mr. Collins to stop on my desk that morning, but he tapped it and said, "Ethan, come with me." I followed him into his office, my chest tight, because I thought he was about to fire me. Instead, he sat down and looked at me like he already knew I was falling apart. "Sit," he said. I obeyed, trying to hide the exhaustion pulling at my eyes. "Ethan," he began, "you've been off, but you're still one of my best. I'm giving you the special project. Let it." I blinked. "Me? Now?" He nodded. "You need something to fight for. Take it, or you'll drown in whatever is dragging you down." I swallowed. "I'll do it." "Good," he said. "Prove yourself again." When I left his office, I felt a flicker of purpose, small but real. I threw myself into work, typing until my fingers hurt. Every task became a distraction, every deadline a shield from the pain clawing at me. Late nights turned into my routine. One night, long after most people had gone home, I rubbed my face and muttered, "I can't keep doing this." "Maybe you can," a soft voice said behind me. I jumped and turned. A girl stood there, holding a cup of coffee. "Sorry," she said quietly. "Didn't mean to scare you." I frowned. "Who are you?" "Maya," she said with a small smile. I'm in the design team. You always look like you're dying around midnight, so I brought you this. She held out the cup. I hesitated. Why? Because you look like someone who carries too much alone, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I stared at her, confused by the warmth in her tone. I'm fine, I said. No, she replied softly. You're not. But you don't have to explain. Her kindness hit me harder than I expected. I took the coffee. Thanks, I murmured. If you're busy, I can leave, she said. No, Opiya. It's fine. I'm not great company. You don't need to be, she said. You just need to breathe. I let out a shaky breath. You talk like you know what I'm dealing with. Pain is loud, she whispered, even when you're silent. I looked away, gripping the warm cup. I'm trying to get better. Trying counts, she said. More than you think. Ich glänzte her. Why are you being nice to me? Her eyes softened. Because no one should hurt alone. Something in my chest shifted, fragile, but noticeable. Maya, I said slowly, I'm not looking for anything. I didn't offer anything, she said with a small laugh. Just coffee. Despite myself, I smiled a little. Okay, I said. Coffee I can handle. Good, she replied. Then maybe you'll survive tonight. She turned to leave. Maya, I called. She paused. Yeah. Thanks. Really? She nodded. Anytime. When she walked away, I stared at the cup in my hands. It wasn't love. It wasn't anything close. But it was warm, simple, and human. Something I hadn't felt in weeks. For the first time in a while, I whispered, maybe I'm not completely broken. The words didn't fix me, but they didn't hurt either. And that felt like a start. I stayed at my desk, staring at my screen, but my mind kept drifting back to her voice. Pain is loud. She said it like she understood every crack inside me. I leaned back in my chair and muttered, Why do you care, Maya? I didn't expect an answer, but her words lingered like a hand on my shoulder. I opened the project files again, forcing myself to focus. As I typed, I heard her voice echoing in my head, steady and gentle. It felt strange having someone see me without asking for anything. Lena always wanted more attention, more effort, more proof that I loved her. Maya didn't want anything except for me to breathe. I whispered, maybe that's enough for now. Slowly, I returned to my work. The pain was still in me, but it didn't choke me the way it used to. For the first time since Lena left, I felt a small piece of myself. The next week felt different. I wasn't healed, not even close, but I wasn't sinking anymore. At work, Mr. Collins stopped by my desk and said, Your numbers are up again. Good job. I nodded, surprised by how good it felt to hear something positive. Later that evening, as I stayed late again, Maya appeared beside me with that quiet smile. Still alive? She asked. Barely, I said, rubbing my eyes. She laughed. You joke now. That's progress. I didn't know I was joking, I replied. You smiled, she said softly. That counts. I touched my face, almost shocked. Feels weird. Smiling usually does after a storm, she said. I sighed and leaned back. I don't understand you. What part? Why you talk to me like I'm someone worth saving? She shrugged. Maybe because you are. I looked away, uneasy. I don't trust easily. I'm not asking you to, she replied gently. I'm just here. Her calmness made something inside me settle. For a moment, work didn't feel like a battlefield. We talked more over the week. Small things, easy things. She told me stories about her cat. I told her how much I hated morning meetings. When I laughed at one of her jokes, she said, There it is again. Another smile. I groaned. Stop keeping score. Never, she teased. But that night, when I lay in bed staring at the dark ceiling, I whispered, Why does it feel wrong to let myself feel okay? Lena's voice echoed in my head like a ghost. You dream too small, Ethan. Jason's already ahead of you. You're sweet, but you're not enough. Those memories hit hard. I clenched my teeth and muttered, Stop. But the flashbacks kept coming. The way she rolled her eyes when I talked about starting my own team one day. The way she smirked when Jason bragged about his achievements. How'd I let that break me so badly? I whispered. The next morning, I dragged myself to work and tried to focus. Around noon, Mr. Collins called me into his office. He pointed at the project charts. If this goes well, it could change your whole career. I blinked. My career? Yes, he said. You're showing leadership again. Keep going. I walked out stunned. When I returned to my desk, Maya tilted her head. What's that face? I think you just said I'm doing good. You are, she said confidently. I've been telling you that. I chuckled. He said this project might change my career. That's huge, she said, her eyes bright. You should celebrate. I don't really celebrate. Well, you're changing that too, she declared. Because you have a big presentation next week, and you're not showing up in that tired gray suit. I groaned. What's wrong with it? Everything, she said. Come on. I'm helping you pick something better. I didn't ask for help. You didn't have to, she said. Let's go. We ended up in a small clothing shop near the office. She walked ahead, scanning racks like she was on a mission. I stood awkwardly until she held up a navy suit. Try this. I sighed. You're serious. Dead serious, she replied. Go. In the fitting room, I changed slowly, expecting to look ridiculous. But when I stepped out, Maya's eyes widened. Ethan, wow. What? Too much. No, she said softly. You look like someone who finally remembered who he is. Her words hit me harder than any insult Lena ever threw at me. I stared at myself in the shop mirror. The man looking back wasn't broken. He wasn't begging anyone to stay. He wasn't small or invisible. He looked alive. This doesn't feel like me, I whispered. It is, Maya said. You just forgot. I swallowed hard. Why are you helping me? Because you deserve a chance to see yourself the way others see you, she said. Not the way someone once made you feel. I let out a shaky breath. You're not supposed to say things like that. Why not? She asked. Because I don't know how to handle it. You don't need to handle it, she said gently. Just wear the suit. I looked at my reflection again. For the first time in weeks, I didn't feel like a ghost. Okay, I said quietly. I'll wear it. Maya smiled. Good. That's the start of everything. The night of the corporate event, my hands shook only a little. Nothing like before. Maya straightened my tie and whispered, You've got this. I hope so, I muttered. You know so, she said, giving my shoulder a light pat. When my name was called, I walked onto the stage. The lights felt hot on my skin, but for once, they didn't scare me. I breathed slowly and began my presentation. My voice didn't crack. My words didn't stumble. When I finished, the room filled with applause. Maya grinned from the corner of the hall. Mr. Collins nodded with pride. And for the first time in months, I felt something warm in my chest, pride. But the moment I stepped off stage, everything inside me froze. Ethan, I turned, and there she was. Lena. Her gold dress shimmered under the lights, but her expression, cold, sharp, always confident, collapsed the second our eyes met. Her lips parted like she wanted to say something, but no sound came out. Jason stood beside her, smug as always, adjusting his suit. Well, he said. Didn't expect to see you up there. Good for you, man. Trying your best. I smiled politely. Glad you noticed. He blinked, not expecting me to answer so calmly. Right, yeah. Just saying. Not everyone can handle pressure. I shrugged. Seems like I handled it fine. Lena's eyes tightened, but she stayed silent. Jason laughed nervously. Sure. Anyway, keep working hard. Maybe you'll catch up someday. I looked him dead in the eye. I'm not racing you. His smile twitched. I turned slightly away from them, trying to breathe. My heart was pounding, but not from pain, from control. From strength. Lena's gaze kept burning into me, shaky, unsure. She used to look at me like I was beneath her. Now she looked like she didn't recognize me. Ethan, she said finally, her voice soft, almost fragile. I didn't respond. Jason stepped forward. Hey, don't ignore her. I faced him calmly. I'm not ignoring anyone. I'm just choosing where to put my energy tonight. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Maya walked over with 2 glasses of sparkling water. Here, she said, handing me one. You deserve it. Thanks, I said. Jason glanced between us. Who's this? Maya extended her hand politely. Maya, I work with Ethan. He didn't shake it. Instead, Lena whispered, She seems close to you. I took a sip of my drink. She's been a good friend. Lena flinched like the words stung. Maya leaned in slightly. We should talk to Mr. Collins soon. He's introducing you to the directors. Right, I said. Jason muttered under his breath. Directors? Since when? Lena shot him a look, but her voice trembled. Ethan, you've changed. I met her eyes for the first time since she'd said goodbye in the rain. People grow. Her breath caught. I didn't think. I didn't let her finish. Have a good night. I walked away, leaving her standing there with her mouth half open. As I moved through the hall, more people stopped me. Great presentation. You handled the data perfectly. Mr. Collins speaks highly of you. Every praise felt unreal, like I was waking up after months underwater. A few minutes later, someone tapped my arm. I turned and saw a girl with dark hair and sharp eyes. She smiled gently. Ethan, right? Yes. I'm Emily, she said. Jason's sister. My chest tightened. Oh, I didn't expect. It's fine, she said quickly. I'm not here to cause trouble. What are you here for then? She exhaled. To tell you I'm glad you're doing better. You look stronger. Thanks, I said quietly. She hesitated, then added, My brother. He's not who he pretends to be. I've known that for years. I'm sorry you got caught in one of his games. Why tell me this now? Because you're not the same guy he walked over before. And she looked toward Lena and Jason across the room. I think she sees that too. I frowned. It doesn't matter anymore. Emily smiled sadly. Maybe not to you, but it clearly matters to her. I followed her gaze. Lena was staring at me like she was drowning, full of confusion, regret, something she never showed me when she walked away. Emily touched my arm lightly. If you need advice, don't let them pull you back into their mess. I won't, I said. You sure? She asked. Yes. She nodded. Good. Then keep moving forward. I thanked her and returned to Maya, who was waiting by the hallway. You okay? She asked. Yeah, I said. Actually, she smiled. Then let's go talk to the directors. You've earned this. As we walked together, I felt Lena's eyes following me. Her regret, her confusion, her longing, it all hung in the air behind me like a shadow I refused to turn toward. I didn't speak to her. I didn't look back. Tonight wasn't about her. It was about me. And for the first time in months, that was enough. The night of the corporate event, my hands shook only a little. Nothing like before. Maya straightened my tie and whispered, You've got this. I hope so, I muttered. You know so, she said, giving my shoulder a light pat. When my name was called, I walked onto the stage. The lights fell hot on my skin, but for once, they didn't scare me. I breathed slowly and began my presentation. My voice didn't crack. My words didn't stumble. When I finished, the room filled with applause. Maya grinned from the corner of the hall. Mr. Collins nodded with pride. And for the first time in months, I felt something warm in my chest, pride. But the moment I stepped off stage, everything inside me froze. Ethan, I turned, and there she was. Lena. Her gold dress shimmered under the lights, but her expression, cold, sharp, always confident, collapsed the second our eyes met. Her lips parted like she wanted to say something, but no sound came out. Jason stood beside her, smug as always, adjusting his suit. Well, he said. Didn't expect to see you up there. Good for you, man. Trying your best. I smiled politely. Glad you noticed. He blinked, not expecting me to answer so calmly. Right, yeah, just saying. Not everyone can handle pressure. I shrugged. Seems like I handled it fine. Lena's eyes tightened, but she stayed silent. Jason laughed nervously. Sure. Anyway, keep working hard. Maybe you'll catch up someday. I looked him dead in the eye. I'm not racing you. His smile twitched. I turned slightly away from them, trying to breathe. My heart was pounding, but not from pain, from control, from strength. Lena's gaze kept burning into me, shaky, unsure. She used to look at me like I was beneath her. Now she looked like she didn't recognize me. Ethan, she said finally, her voice soft, almost fragile. I didn't respond. Jason stepped forward. Hey, don't ignore her. I faced him calmly. I'm not ignoring anyone. I'm just choosing where to put my energy tonight. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Maya walked over with 2 glasses of sparkling water. Here, she said, handing me one. You deserve it. Thanks, I said. Jason glanced between us. Who's this? Maya extended her hand politely. Maya, I work with Ethan. He didn't shake it. Instead, Lena whispered, She seems close to you. I took a sip of my drink. She's been a good friend. Lena flinched like the word stung. Maya leaned in slightly. We should talk to Mr. Collins soon. He's introducing you to the directors. Right, I said. Jason muttered under his breath. Directors? Since when? Lena shot him a look, but her voice trembled. Ethan, you've changed. I met her eyes for the first time since she'd said goodbye in the rain. People grow. Her breath caught. I didn't think. I didn't let her finish. Have a good night. I walked away, leaving her standing there with her mouth half open. As I moved through the hall, more people stopped me. Great presentation. You handle the data perfectly. Mr. Collins speaks highly of you. Every praise felt unreal, like I was waking up after months underwater. A few minutes later, someone tapped my arm. I turned and saw a girl with dark hair and sharp eyes. She smiled gently. Ethan, right? Yes. I'm Emily, she said. Jason's sister. My chest tightened. Oh, I didn't expect. It's fine, she said quickly. I'm not here to cause trouble. What are you here for then? She exhaled. To tell you I'm glad you're doing better. You look stronger. Thanks, I said quietly. She hesitated, then added, My brother. He's not who he pretends to be. I've known that for years. I'm sorry you got caught in one of his games. Histoire de hair. Why tell me this now? Because you're not the same guy he walked over before. And she looked toward Lena and Jason across the room. I think she sees that too. I frowned. It doesn't matter anymore. Emily smiled sadly. Maybe not to you, but it clearly matters to her. I followed her gaze. Lena was staring at me like she was drowning, full of confusion, regret, something she never showed me when she walked away. Emily touched my arm lightly. If you need advice, don't let them pull you back into their mess. I won't, I said. You sure? She asked. Yes. She nodded. Good. Then keep moving forward. I thanked her and returned to Maya, who was waiting by the hallway. You okay? She asked. Yeah, I said. Actually, she smiled. Then let's go talk to the directors. You've earned this. As we walked together, I felt Lena's eyes following me. Her regret, her confusion, her longing. It all hung in the air behind me like a shadow I refused to turn toward. I didn't speak to her. I didn't look back. Tonight wasn't about her. It was about me. And for the first time in months, that was enough. I sat across from Maya in the quiet corner of the cafe, my hands wrapped around a warm mug. There's something I should tell you, I said softly, my voice barely steady. She looked at me, gentle and patient. Only if you want to. I'm here. I took a deep breath, the words heavy in my chest. Lena, she didn't just leave me. She made me feel small. Everything I dreamed of, everything I wanted, it was never enough. She laughed at my plans and compared me to Jason all the time. I didn't realize how much it broke me until she walked away. Maya didn't interrupt. She only nodded slowly, as if giving me space to speak. She mocked me, Maya. Even when I thought I was trying my best, she made it feel worthless. I stayed because I thought love meant surviving someone else's standards. My throat tightened. That's not love, she whispered. That's starvation. Her words cut deeper than I expected. Maybe, but walking away made me feel like I failed. You didn't fail, she said firmly. You escaped. I looked down at my hands. I don't know how to trust again. I get it, she said softly. I've been there too. You have. My voice cracked. Yes, she admitted. Someone I loved left the moment things got hard. No reason. No apology. Just gone. And it left a hole I didn't know how to fill. My chest tightened at the pain in her voice. I'm sorry you went through that. It taught me something, she said, eyes steady. People who leave easily were never meant to stay. Hearing that, something inside me loosened. Maya, hearing that makes me feel less alone. She smiled faintly. Good, you're not alone. We sat in silence, the cafe humming around us, a soft place to breathe. Then she leaned forward, fingers brushing mine lightly. We breathed slowly, together. My heart stumbled. I didn't pull away. Before I could say anything, my phone buzzed. I glanced down and my stomach sank. Lena, Maya noticed my tension. You don't have to explain, she said quietly. I'm not replying. I muttered, locking the screen. But even without reading more, the words lingered. Just checking if you're okay. The woman who left me shattered wanted updates on my life now. My chest twisted. Maya's eyes were soft, but steady. Does seeing her name still hurt? Yeah, I admitted. Even though I don't want her back, it hits something old. That's normal, she said. Healing isn't linear. It's messy. I swallowed hard. I don't want Lena in my life. Not ever again. I believe you, she whispered. And I trust you. Her trust stunned me. Why? Because you're choosing yourself, she said. Not chaos. I exhaled shakily. Trust scares me. Then you're doing it right, she said softly, smiling. I looked at her, really looked, and something inside me began to feel lighter. Maya, you make things feel possible. And you make honesty feel safe, she said. The warmth between us hung in the air. Suddenly, a familiar voice interrupted. There you two are. I've been looking everywhere. Grace leaned over with a teasing grin. Maya groaned. Grace. Grace ignored her. I know exactly who he is. Rule number 1, don't break her heart. I will find you. I laughed for the first time in weeks. Noted. I'll be careful. Maya rolled her eyes, cheeks pink. You're impossible. I like her, I said quietly. She cares about you. She does, Maya said softly. But I think she approves of you too. I swallowed, overwhelmed by how easily she saw through me. Thank you. For listening. For understanding. For not judging me. I never judge your pain, she said. It's part of you. Her words wrapped around me like a warmth I hadn't felt in months. I leaned back, breathing slowly. Maya, I'm scared of feeling again. So am I, she whispered. But that doesn't mean we stop. My pulse steadied. What happens now? She smiled gently. Whatever you're ready for. For the first time in months, the future didn't feel like a cliff. It felt like a door, and Maya's hand was there, holding it open. I was flipping through a book at the corner table of the bookstore cafe when Maya slid into the seat across from me, a soft smile on her face. You look way too serious, she teased, nudging my arm lightly. I'm concentrating, I said, though the corners of my mouth twitched. You call that concentrating? She asked, leaning closer. You look like someone trying to memorize the meaning of life in one page. I laughed softly. Maybe I am. She shook her head, grinning. You're ridiculous. I reached for my coffee, and when our hands brushed, warmth spread in a way that made my chest feel lighter. I didn't notice her at first, but then I saw the shadow at the other end of the cafe. Lena. Her eyes widened the moment she saw us. I could almost see the gears in her mind grinding, panic bubbling just below the surface. She froze, staring like she didn't believe what she was seeing. Maya's hand rested casually on my arm, her fingers brushing mine. Lena's lips parted slightly, but no words came out. I felt my pulse thrum. I'd expected to see her someday, but not like this. Not when she looked like the ground had dropped beneath her feet. She walked toward us, forcing a smile. Ethan, hey, I didn't expect to see you here. Her voice cracked ever so slightly, betraying her composure. I glanced at her, my expression neutral. Lena, Maya didn't move an inch. Her calm confidence radiated beside me, and I realized how much I'd come to rely on that presence. Lena's eyes flicked from me to Maya, then back. Jealousy, panic, regret, all colliding in that frozen gaze. I just wanted to say hi. Lena continued, her tone wobbling. It's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah, I said quietly. A long while. Jason had been her shield for so long, and now rumors of his business troubles were spreading fast. She probably felt the cracks beneath her feet. I could see it. She needed a hero, and he was no longer that. Lena tried again, softer this time. Can we talk? Just us. I shook my head slowly. I don't think that's a good idea. Her smile faltered, the panic spilling over. I thought maybe we could. You thought wrong, I said, my voice calm but firm. Maya leaned slightly closer, her hand still resting lightly on my arm. She's not the person you were before, I said gently, almost to myself, but loud enough for Lena to hear. Ethan, Lena's words trailed off. I've changed, I said, meeting her eyes directly. And so has my life. Her breath hitched. You're with her? Yes, I said. Maya's here, and I'm happy, really happy. Lena's gaze fell to the table, then back to my face. I didn't know. Her voice was a whisper. You didn't know because you never valued me, I said softly. Not when it mattered. Not when I needed you. You chased someone else's version of success while I stayed true to myself. Tears shimmered in her eyes, though she blinked them back fiercely. I didn't. You didn't have to, I said. It's over. Her shoulders sagged slightly, and I saw the final pieces of her understanding fall into place. She hadn't lost me because of Jason, or because she wanted him instead. She had lost me because she never appreciated what I was when I was right in front of her. I see it now, she whispered, almost to herself. Maya squeezed my arm gently, a subtle but unshakable signal that this was my life now, that the past couldn't claw back in. I glanced at her, gratitude and relief warming my chest. Lena's gaze lingered on me, searching, questioning. I felt a strange mix of sadness and peace. Sadness for what we once were, but peace because I no longer needed her validation. I hope you're happy, she said finally. I am, I said quietly, and I've earned it. Her lips pressed into a thin line. The cafe seemed to hold its breath, and for a moment, the world narrowed down to Lena, Maya, and me. I guess I understand now, Lena admitted softly. You're gone, and it's too late. Yes, I said, my voice steady. It's too late. She turned away then, leaving a trail of regret in her wake. And in that moment, I realized something I hadn't felt in months. I wasn't broken anymore. I had moved on. I had chosen myself. Maya leaned closer and whispered, You okay? I nodded, looking into her eyes. Better than okay. I'm free. She smiled, a quiet, radiant smile, and I felt the weight of the past finally lift. The bookstore hummed with life around us, but I only noticed the warmth beside me. Lena's chapter was closed. Maya's was just beginning, and for the first time, I felt truly unshakable.